You are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. Part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Even today, what's up, Fish fans? Welcome to another episode of your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and I'm here after every Marlins game through the end of the season on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I want to thank you for making us your first listen, your first watch every day. We're free, available wherever you get your podcasts. You know this, and right here on Locked On Sports Miami, here on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And that's the key with us here, your team every single day. And today's show, this episode brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100 with Prize Picks. All right, man, the Marlins got off to a great start tonight. Great start in Philly, looking for the quick two-game sweep. 4-4 season series with the Phils, looking to take the edge over the NL East leading Phillies, and it looked good early on, man. First inning, Jonah Bride goes yard. Jonah Bride with a 3-run shot, Marlins 3-zip. So they beat the Phillies yesterday, completely take the crowd out of the game in the first inning today with Jonah Bride, and things are looking really good for Miami. And we'll take you through the game and how things happen throughout the show here. But, man, the Phillies had been struggling. They had lost 5 in a row. They were not scoring runs. They weren't hitting the ball. They had lost plate discipline, all sorts of things. All you got to do is listen to John Crook, best analyst in baseball, John Crook. I love him watching the Phillies games, and shout out to Crookie. And when I can watch on MLB, sorry, Marlins guys, I'm watching John Crook. It is what it is. So Edward Cabrera had been dealing coming into this game. So you're looking pretty good. The Marlins, he's dealing coming into this game. How good was Edward Cabrera coming into this game for Miami? Well, how about this? Edward Cabrera for the Marlins coming into this game had not allowed an earned run in 17 innings over 2 starts, right? 19 strikeouts over 17 innings. And he was really good. He hadn't allowed a run in 2 straight starts. That changed today. And he allowed a couple before the Schwarber salami, too. And it was literally a 6-run game for him. So he was awful today. He couldn't locate anything. He walked everyone. And, you know, the same thing. I mean, it was legit the same thing early on with Tyler Phillips. I mean, he hit 2 batters in the first inning. And, yeah, man, it just the Marlins jumped on top early, and it looked like it was going to be another one of those bad days for the Phillies. It was 3-0. Then the Phillies chip. 1 in the second, 1 in the third. It's 3-2. Marlins get 2 in the fourth. It's 5-2. Everything's cool until Kyle Schwarber comes up with the bases loaded and hits that changeup the opposite way. What happened tonight with Cabrera was he couldn't locate the fastball for jack squat, couldn't throw it over the plate to save his life, and it killed him. He couldn't throw the sinker for a strike that was up in the zone, but unable to locate the fastball. And when you can't locate the fastball, throwing mid-90s, nice velocity, but still couldn't locate it. It's all over the place. You're relying too much on the changeup without the use of your fastball as an effective setup pitch. You're throwing too many changeups to lefties. All they have to do is learn to stay back on it. It only takes a few. And with a guy like Schwarber, he's a great hitter, man. Just launches that thing the other way right over the left field wall. Easy peasy. The next thing you know, it's 6-5. And the next thing you know after that, it's 9-5. So that's what happened with the Marlins tonight. I mean, they had a shot. You every dayers know they're always going to have a shot. They're always going to have a shot because they play hard. They have, I mean, Berger's on fire right now. Xavier Edwards is hitting the ball. So things are going well offensively. Pitching-wise was going really, really well. I mean, Munoz has been great. Beozo was awesome against the Phils yesterday. And Munoz had been looking good, too, until his last start. But, not so much lately. You're really hoping Weathers comes back soon. Not so hopeful about Luzardo coming back this season. But, man, you had the 3-0 lead. You know, you had a couple more. Just one of those things that wasn't to be for the Marlins. Jake Burger had a good game. I mean, this is too bad for Jake, right? Jake Burger, you think about it, he gets up in the 7th inning, 1st and 2nd, 1 out, rips a bullet. Beautiful swing. Just needed a little more lift, and it's a 9-8 game. They had Berger and Sanchez 1 out, 1st and 2nd in the was it the 7th or the 8th? I can't remember. But Berger did, shout out to Jake Burger. His 4-game consecutive homer streak ended tonight, but his hitting streak is now at 7 games. And speaking of streaks, Alec Bohm for the Phillies has been on base, reached base safely in 31 straight games. Bryce Harper had a couple doubles tonight. And your former Marlin comes back to bite them in the butt. Nightly occurrence almost, it seems. J.D. Realmuto is the guy tonight, 2-run double, 2 hits and 2 RBIs. Bryson Stott, 2 hits, 2 runs scored. Bryce Harper, 2 doubles. Bohm, 2 hits. I mean, the Phillies they weren't scoring. They had 10 runs in 5 games. They're scoring 2 runs a game on the streak. Not tonight. They erupt for 9. 9 runs unanswered for the most part. Not completely unanswered. But, man, 7 of them were. 7 of them were. And 3 with 2 outs later in the game for the insurance. And, just one of those things for Miami. You had the early lead, but you could see it right from the jump, man. Cabrera he didn't have his stuff tonight. He just didn't. You look at that first inning for Miami, and, Edwards grounds out, Berger's hit by the pitch, Sanchez singles, Berger goes to second, and then Bride hits the home run. Stowers singles, Fielder's choice, Hill singles. He had 2 hits tonight, and they left runners on base. They left runners on base all night. That's what the Marlins do. Runners in scoring position, 3 for 11. Philly's not much better, 5 for 14, but 3 for 11. And, they did not play super well tonight. I mean, 11 hits for the Marlins. 5 runs, just didn't play defensively. Cronin was terrible again tonight. He hasn't had many bad outings, but he was awful tonight. Cabrera, terrible. Cronin, awful. Emmanuel was good. and DeGuss was good too. Phillips got bombed for the Phillies. Marlins tagged him for 9 hits and 5 earned runs. But Ruiz and Strom and Hoffman and Alvarado and Estevez, nothing. Donuts. Nothing. The Marlins did not score, as a matter of fact, after the 4th inning. So that vaunted Philly bullpen doing its job for 5 innings tonight, as they have done for most of this year, and their offense finally got going. They finally got off the schneid. They finally put some runs up on the board in bunches. The long ball got going. The innings where the Phillies just press you, man. They body you, and they pressure you, and they force you into making perfect plays to beat them. Harper had an RBI on a ground out tonight that could have been a double play. All you kids out there watching, you want to know why Bryce Harper is one of the top players in the game? Yeah, he's got a beautiful swing. He's been hitting 500-foot home runs since he was 14 years old. You remember him in Sports Illustrated. We all do. But effort, man, effort wins every time. When your number one player, when one of the best players in the world legs out an RBI by beating out a double play ball, that's what's up. That's what I'm talking about. That's what winners do. That's what legends do, and that's what Bryce Harper, that's why he's a legend. I mean, you beat out a double play ball, boom, RBI. It's not always homers and doubles and balls off the wall that drive in runs. It's not. It's moving runners over. It's sacrifice flies. Crucky said it on the broadcast, John Crook, on the telecast, legendary Philadelphia Philly. He said it. He said, it doesn't matter who drives in the runs right now. It doesn't matter who's getting the win, the save, the hold, whatever. We all are doing it together when they're struggling, speaking of the Phillies. And that team effort, that team mindset, and that mentality has carried them all season long through first place. And that incredibly hot start. Remember, year in, year out, you everydayers know this, right? Year in and year out. You've been watching the Locked On Podcast Network. Some of you guys watch Locked On Phillies and Phillies Postcast, right? You know this. The Phillies usually fall behind the Braves early and never catch up. Backs, right? Yeah. Okay. Not this year. They jumped all over Atlanta and everybody else from the start of the year, and they have not been good lately. Make no mistake. This last month has been bad for them. But they had built up such a lead that they're not going to lose it over this run. And the Dodgers can't necessarily say the same thing. I mean, I don't know what the Dodgers are going to end up doing. They could get hot too, and Mookie Betts is going to come back playing the outfield. But when the Dodgers come back to life here, they're still only 3 games up on the D-backs and Padres, who are 9-1 each in their last 10 games. The Dodgers finally hot again. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They had a couple of bad weeks, and the D-backs and Padres got right on their heels, man. They are right there at 3 games back. But the Phillies have withstood the push. The Mets got into second for a minute. The Braves have gotten hot again, although now they're 3-7 in their last 10. The top of this division, the whole entire East is a mess. Phillies 5-5, Braves 3-7, Mets 4-6, Nationals 5-5, Marlins 4-6. That's the last 10 games for each team in the National League, least as it is right now. I mean, for real. You see that rundown right there for you. The Phillies erupt, blast the Marlins. 9-5 is the final. They've won 5 games against the Marlins this season, 5-4 against Miami. They will see them again in September. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease on the Locked On Podcast Network at @JimGrease_. When I come back, we talk more about the 2-game split, bridal party with Jonah Bride, Schwarber slam, and on to New York. Right here on the other side, we're going to talk about this Miami Marlins team and how no matter how many guys they trade away, the young guys are coming up and the new guys are coming in, and they are still playing exciting baseball. It's Locked On Marlins Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, Miami Marlins. And I've been waiting all day to tell you about my friends at Liquid IV. You see me? I mean, the skin looks healthy, right? I'm really hydrated. Look at the skin. It looks like I just fed my skin Liquid IV. And I did, actually, because we all want cold treats while we're watching baseball in the summertime, right? But here's the difference now. You see these grays. I'm not eating all those popsicles with all the fillers and the dyes and the things that are eventually going to make me not live to be 62. No, I am not. I'm doing it smart. I'm doing it right. I'm combining favorite pastimes, and I'm hydrating with Liquid IV. I love the popsicle firecracker flavor. It's a surefire summer hit. That's right. Peter Piper picked a pick of pickled peppers. Yeah, I can do it. A surefire summer hit. L.A. Night. Yeah. All right. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, Liquid IV. Because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. Indulgent hydration. That is right. If you can, make sure you get your hands on some Liquid IV as soon as possible. You're going to get way more hydration than just water alone. It's really easy. All you do is tear, pour, and live more. 1 stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates way better than water alone. That's right. And if you don't want the popsicle firecracker, I don't know why you wouldn't. It's citrus-fueled lemon, lime, tart cherry, and raspberry in one drink, but suit yourself with acai berry, lemon lime, or pina coladas. Getting caught in the rain in the summer in South Florida. You're going to be in rain all the time. But don't let the rain fool you. You can't get hydrated from the outside. You do it from the inside. Tear, pour, live more. Liquid IV. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. I said 3 times the electrolytes. 8 essential vitamins and nutrients. Always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free for all you people who can't put anything in your bodies. I don't know how you survive, but that's up to you. Anyway, no more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. That's right. And our show today, Locked On Marlins Postcast, is also brought to you by America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million users, where it is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, where unlike other apps, it's just you against the numbers, where all you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in when you get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the community today. Do you give up? I've skipped the word on purpose 4 times in a row to see if you're playing along. That's right. I could only be talking about the one, the only Prize Picks. That's right. America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Prize Picks allows you to win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into 1,000. And if you're looking for promotions, hey, Prize Picks has you covered every week there too. From lowering select player stat projections on Tuesdays to helping your lineup hit or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. With Prize Picks, you're always going to have a promotion. It's available in more than 30 states as well. The rest of them will come along eventually. Don't move there. It's available in California, Texas, and Georgia for sure. And you can download the Prize Picks app today. All right. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Want to thank you for making Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, plus here on YouTube. You know this, man, but what you might not know is that Locked On MLB is just as dope as we are. Maybe not quite, but almost right there. Just kidding, Sully. I love you. Host Paul Sullivan here daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor. Funny dude, gonna help you get ready for the MLB playoffs. And let's face it, 162 games, you gotta do something. I'm up here acting a fool all the time. Trust me, I know. Sully's funnier than I am, though. He's gonna get you ready for the playoffs, the series, the races, everything going bananas right now in Major League Baseball. No more dog days this summer. The pennant races in full effect. You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop term. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully. He's got it covered every single day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And your team being the Miami Marlins, you are an incredible fan. And you everydayers, shout out to you. Want to remind you right now that I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease at @JimGrease_. I also want to remind you that you can see this handsome face again this weekend, all weekend, when the Marlins go to New York to take on the Come On Out and Beat the Mets. Hey, at least they're not all drug addicts anymore who are like killing cats in their teammates' houses and like forcing charter planes to turn around because they're all afraid for their lives from the players on the team. They're not the Mets anymore that they used to be. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's all documented in books. You can go read it. And I'm going way back. But it's just so much fun to pick on the Mets. The Mets, though, after a terrible start, rebounded, started playing better, got into second place, and in true M-E-S-S, Mets fashion, notice I said M-E-S-S, Mets, not M-E-T-S, M-E-S-S, Mets, right? Yeah, you get it. See, I just have to make sure I'm using this University of Miami degree to its fullest. All right, boom. And so, yeah, there you go. Speaking of which, Florida's dead. Can't wait. Gainesville, baby. Swampland. You know what happens when a hurricane hits swampland? All those alligators, all those pythons, all those panthers, all those bugs, all those bushes, all that water, everything just goes flying all over the place and just gets smeared everywhere. And when that storm leaves, there's nothing but a bunch of dead gators laying all over the ground. And that's what's going to happen to the University of Florida on September 8th when the University of Miami goes up there for the season opener. And we'll be here with your Locked On Canes postcast right after that. Until then, Alex Dono has Locked On Canes every day for you, just like Kyle Krabs has your Locked On Dolphins every single day. And we'll have your Locked On Dolphins postcast this Saturday again. The Fins play game 2 of their preseason schedule after the win over Atlanta last week. So many of the rookies balling out for Miami. So after the Dolphins games, after the Canes games, heat after that, we'll be here with a postcast. And I think Kyle, Alex, and myself, that's the best football coverage for those two teams in a city you're going to find anywhere. And you got it right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. If you're not an everydayer, you will be soon. I tell you that right now as you watch me here on the Locked On Podcast Network. All right, 9-5 Phillies beat the Marlins today. Bryce Harper's a great hitter, man. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about him other than that right now. I mean, beating out that double play ball for the RBI, the 2 doubles. That double down the left field line was a piece of beauty hitting. Schwarber, 2, going the other way with the grand slam. And then you got Bohm, 2 for 4, 31-game streak of being on base safely. Then you got Bryson Stott, 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Then the former Marlin, the great catcher, JT Realmuto, 2 for 3, 2 RBIs and a run scored. Then you got Marsh with 2 hits the other way. Then Rojas, 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored. The only one who doesn't get a hit in the Phillies lineup is Sosa. Come on, you know that one, right? You live in Miami and you don't get that one. Turn off the show right now. Sosa, the birthday boy, 0 for 4. The only Philly without a hit. Hey, Sosa, just tell Sosa I'm coming, man? Who is that? Come on. All right, Tony Montana. If you guys don't get that one, maybe I should do the show as Tony Montana one day, even though I don't sound like him. Wouldn't that be great? No one would even know what I'm doing. I think it would be entertaining. But what was entertaining for sure, and you don't have to think about it, was Jonah Bride, man. He's hitting 276. 4 RBIs tonight, 2 for 4 with a run scored. Hey, Sanchez, 2 for 5, 1 of each, RBI and a run scored. And Jake Berger, 2 for 4 with 2 runs. He extended the hitting streak to 7 games, did not homer. Newsflash. This is a news story when a game goes by without a burger bomb from Jake. And he didn't hit one tonight. And with a name like Jake, you have to be great because that's my son's name. And it's not Jacob, you guys with your wimpy names. No, your proper wimpy names. It's Jake. It's Jake. Like my friend Jake Arians, Bruce Arians' son, a Super Bowl winning coach with the Tampa Bay Bucks and former coach of the Cardinals, coordinator of the Steelers. Like, BA's a great dude. Jake is too, his son. His name's Jake, not Jacob. He's the only other Jake I've met who's not Jacob, like my son, and he's a tough dude, right? So he always says, me, him, and a bunch of dogs from Alabama. So my son, Jake Arians, and a bunch of dogs from Alabama are named Jake. And so is Jake Berger. And with Jonah Bride, 4 RBIs tonight. Good job by him as well. Derek Hill, 2 for 4. Stowers with the hit. Hensley, the double as a pinch hitter. They just couldn't get it done with runners in scoring position again. And Cabrera was terrible. He couldn't locate anything tonight. He had been really good his past couple of times out, but he could not locate anything tonight. And I don't mean he couldn't find it, like see it. I'm talking about he could not spot his fastball at all. And it left his changeup vulnerable. Here's what happens when your changeup's your out pitch and you're setting it off. I'm going to give you guys a little game here and put you on game, all right? When you're throwing heat, you're throwing mid-90s with your fastball and your sinker, even though in today's game, guys are throwing 100. You know what I'm saying? Mid-90s is still heat. And for a sinker baller to throw the 2-seamer, 4-seamer, cutter, whatever they're doing mid-90s, and then they drop the sinker at 94, 95, and they keep that pitch down, that alone is great. But the sinker gets heavy, but you can sit back on it and start to lift it when they're only throwing fastballs. You have to mix speeds. You can't have everything coming in the same speed no matter where you locate it or where it moves. Big league hitters will absolutely murder you if you do that. You have to be up, down, in, out, changing speeds, changing motions, changing directions the ball breaks, curves, sliders, screwballs, whatever it is, sweepers, everything to keep those hitters off balance. But when you're throwing hard stuff to set up your real out pitch, which is the changeup, and you're not throwing strikes with your fastball to keep them honest, they can sit back on the changeup and just crush it because they're not going to swing at the fastball until you prove you can throw it for strikes, which he never did tonight. So they eventually got to sit back on the changeup, crush it. You're welcome. Phillies erupt. Marlins win. Cabrera no longer hot right now because he could not throw his fastball for strikes tonight. Big league hitters will kill you every time. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me, Grease. I love putting you up on game. Maybe we should name a segment Up on Game or something. How about that? Up on Game, powered by, maybe you own a business that would like to power that. Hook us up with that. It's the Locked On Podcast Network. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Locked On Marlins postcast. One more segment to go. On to New York. You can't really call Queens New York City. Don't call it New York City, because if you live in New York City and you're from New York City, Queens is not New York City. Neither is Brooklyn. Sorry to most of those rappers out there. Queens and Brooklyn are not New York City. They're not. Manhattan is New York City. The island of Manhattan is New York City. Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, the Bronx, Long Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, everywhere else is what they call the B&T crowd, Bridge and Tunnel. And that includes Queens. There. More game from me to you. Locked On Marlins postcast rolling on right after this. Closing it up, getting you ready for the Mets series. Hang out. And I am excited to tell you, even though, my lady's a shopper in the house, she does a great, she picked this shirt out. She does a great job shopping. She buys all the things that we need all the time, and she likes to spend money, which is amazing since I found Ibotta, I-B-O-T-T-A, because it doesn't matter if she's buying sandals, sunscreen, all the things that she masquerades and puts in the top of the bags and shows me that are for everybody else, right? Never mind the bag that she got for herself that's in the bottom of the pile and just kind of gets snuck by. But the bottom line is she's getting money back on all that stuff from Ibotta. The dream vacation we're going to take here soon, Ibotta is going to give us the cash back we need to even do more on that vacation. You can spend more time making memories, less time dreaming about them. The barbecues, it's an abundant feast because you don't have to worry about choosing. You get cash back on both. What is Ibotta? Are you intrigued yet? You better be. If not, you don't want money. And if you don't want money, I don't know what to do with you. Okay, I just don't. But Ibotta, if you do want money, I know exactly what to do to you. Is to tell you that you should get the free app that earns you cash back every time you shop. I mean, every time you shop. Earn on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies. Those are probably what are in that bag that I never get to see. Even toys, and I hope they're not. Never mind. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 a year. I can tell you that. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip. That flight you've been eyeing, the fancy dinner you've been craving. She's going to spend all the rewards money on herself too. I'm ready for it. I'm prepared. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much, right? What do the points do? What are the points going to do? You're not playing games like a little kid. No, with Ibotta, you earn cash back that you can withdraw to your bank account. Bang, one tap on the screen. PayPal, gift cards, same. Simply add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. You can save on over 2,400 brands and shop at over 1,000 retailers, including your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. It is time you join the over 50 million users who use Ibotta, IBOTTA, to earn cash back every time they shop. And right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners, that means you, $5 just for trying Ibotta and using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play and download the free Ibotta app, IBOTTA, to start earning cash back. Use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or the App Store. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for Ibotta. You know, get it? Like I bought a ... Ibotta. What did you buy? She bought lipstick. She bought nightgowns. She bought dresses. She bought eyeliner. She bought kitty litter. But I got paid on all of it with Ibotta. Locked On Marlins Postcast is also brought to you by eBay Motors. Now we're getting into something I can sink my teeth into. Passion, drive, patience. That's exactly what I'm not going to have. Well, the passion and the drive, but not the patience. When I go get my brand new Mercedes-Benz coming up here soon. Maybe I can get that on Ibotta. Get a lot of money back. The formula for winning champions, passion, drive, and patience, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. And I'm not talking about your spouse who's racking up those bills. I'm talking about eBay Motors. Has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, the true love of your life. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. All the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Whew. eBay Motors is dope, man. I'm telling you right now, you need to check out eBay Motors. Everything about eBay is dope. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Locked On Marlins Postcast, wrapping it up on your Wednesday. Happy hump day, everybody. I hope you're humping your way through life and having a good time. That didn't come out right. It's not what I meant. But actually, if you think about it, I mean, could do worse. So as we continue, the Marlins are headed to New York to play the Mets, and we don't know where the show is going. But we do know we'll have shows this weekend after every game. We'll have the Dolphins show Saturday night. That game will end around 10:30 East Coast time. Be right here with that. Make sure you're watching Locked On Dolphins, Locked On Canes, Alex and Kyle every single day. Killing it. I mean, absolutely killing it. We have between the Canes and the Dolphins. I talked about the three of us being the best in the business. What I'm doing there is firmly digging my fingernails into the coattails of those two dudes because they are absolutely fantastic. Locked On Dolphins, Locked On Canes, with Kyle, with Alex. Do not miss them. And don't miss Sully, by the way, on Locked On MLB. Now that you made Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen every day, go to the Locked On MLB Postcast. It's easy to find. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully. He's got it covered every single day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Talk about this, right? There you go. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, wrapping it up on your Wednesday. And, of course, they go to play the Mets. And with the Phillies, by the way, just so you know, in case you were wondering, and I know you were because we're locked in and locked on like that. We're in tune with one another. They play each other 4 more times. Actually, yeah, 4 more times. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th of September in Miami. Old school joke. In Miami. So you got there a 5-4 lead for the Phillies in the season series. But a good game for the Marlins. I mean, they put pressure on them. They scored a lot of runs. Cabrera just couldn't pitch tonight. And I don't know what the heck has been going on lately, you know, with some of these bullpen guys. Just not a good night, again, for Declan Cronin. 3 earned runs on 4 hits in 2/3 of an inning. That'll push the ERA up. That's the thing about a bullpen guy. ERA is up near 5 again at 4.79. You have one bad outing like that, and it just kills you. But the Phillies, man, they had 5 guys with 2 hits in their lineup. You know, Schwarber with the salami. I don't know. The Marlins hit 2, though. 4 guys with 2 hits in their lineup. Berger, Sanchez, Bride, and Derek Hill. Keep bringing in new players, and they're fitting the mold. I mean, I thought with 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs in the first inning when Rivera struck out, got hit by the pitch, it looked like, but it looked like it hit his hand, but it hit the bottom of the hand and the nub of the bat. Yeah, man. Berger rips a single after Edward steals second, and he hits it too hard for him to score. Berger's line drive later in the game in the 7th inning. In the 8th inning, 2nd and 3rd, no outs. Bullet to left. And then Sanchez bounces into the weak little fielder's choice. Unreal. But the Phillies kind of, snapped out of it tonight. Even when the Phillies were scoring a little earlier in the game, Lopez and Derek Hill had a couple balls. Lopez playing second on a throwdown from Sanchez on a stolen base. It hit the lip of his glove on a hop. Good throw, would have had him. He picks the ball, tag would have had him. Then the single to center field that hits the very edge of Derek Hill's glove, the drive in a run. That run wouldn't have scored. I mean, it's so many little things happen in a baseball game. And you everydayers know this because you know the game of baseball. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. And that will do it for your Locked On Marlins postcast. The Marlins go to Philadelphia and win 1 of 2. They took the opener yesterday, and they lose the series finale today. 5-0 yesterday, 9-5 today. 10 runs in 2 days for the Marlins. A lot to grow on as they head to New York, not the city. We just went through that. The Bridge and Tunnel haven of Queens to go see the Mets and hopefully at least get a couple of games there, maybe win the series. It's a 3-gamer over the weekend. They come back home after that for the Diamondbacks, but we will be here all weekend. Locked On Marlins for all 3 games, Locked On Dolphins Saturday night, and it will be so much fun. Following me also on social media at @JimGrease_ on social media, all kinds of things going on there and on the Locked On Podcast Network. Don't forget to check out Sully, Locked On MLB. Make it your second listen every day after this one, Locked On Marlins postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. 9-5 Phillies, keep your game tight and your mind right, baby. We're out.